Hey folks, welcome to the Barbarian's Horde. I am the Nerdy Barbarian. I swear to God, that's my legal name. And fresh out of LASIK surgery, so no more glasses. I may have to change my name to the regular boring-ass Barbarian. Today we're going to look at a legendary knife. I've had this one a while. I've been kind of putting this off. I'm going to catch some heat for this. This is a really well-loved knife. This is the Chris Reeve Umnumzaan, which pretty much everybody who's into knives, at least higher-end knives, is aware of. This is one of the most famous knives ever made in the United States, I think. It's got some issues for me. It's still a good knife, it's a solid knife, and the price of these is $500. Availability of these is non-existent, basically. You're going to have to sign up for some email alerts to get one of these things, or be prepared to pay $600-700 for a base model on the secondary market, which I don't recommend. If you sign up for an email alert, they drop regularly enough that if you wait a couple of months, you're probably going to get an email. I signed up for a couple, and I bought this one used in the meantime, but I got 2-3 opportunities to buy one within, a month of me buying this used one. And I was only hunting for one for a month or so before I got this one, so it's doable. It's not anywhere near the hardest knife you'll ever have to hunt down, but they are not go out and just go to the website and buy one. They're not that easy, but it's not impossible. You can get one if you really want one. It is a solid American-made knife, made in Idaho, and you're probably going to like it. I mean, it's not a bad knife at all. I just think there's some better options out there, and we're going to talk about that really quick. Let's go over to the bench over there and get a closer look at this thing and talk about it. Alright folks, today we got the one, the only Chris Reeve Umnumzaan. If there was ever a legendary American-made knife, this might be it. This is, I guess you'd call this the flagship model of the Chris Reeve lineup, really. This is the one that everyone seems to want. This is the cool one. This is the one that's constantly sold out. This is the way it comes, just like every other Chris Reeve. Lift off, nice looking cardboard box, lift off box lid, and then you got your folder of paperwork here. Birth certificate, this was made in 23. It's a Tanto blade, Magna Cut steel. You're gonna get a little baggie of tools, and then this is, because I swapped out some parts, these are the stock parts, the stock pin and spacer, and the stock clip. The knife will come rolled up in what is my favorite cleaning cloth in the business. Love these things. I use these for everything. Most of the other cleaning cloths stay in the box, but I actually use these a lot. And then we got the knife. Now this is a user, so it's got some snail trails here and there, but no actual damage. And I bought it used, and I've carried and used it some. It's got a kind of a semi-mirrored edge on it right now, but it's held pretty well. Not so mirrored that I got rid of all the scratches. So honestly, a semi-mirrored edge kind of looks bad if you don't just go all the way and do it, because then it just looks shiny and scratched up. Get wiped down a little bit there. There you go, guy.
Hey, relax, guy.
I'm going to go ahead and get the measurements and stuff on this. We've got 8.5 inches-ish, 8 3/8. The handle is 4 3/4. The blade length is 3 5/8. And the only real comparison that I'm going to do here is a PM2 and the Large Inkosi. It is the exact same size as the Large Inkosi. I measured it before I started this video. It's a little longer than the PM2. The handles are just about the same size, but it's got a bit more blade in it. But the real comparison here is the Inkosi. See, this is the favorite, but I prefer this one, honestly. That's kind of a spoiler, right? We just started the tabletop review part of this, but I really like the Inkosi better. They're very similar knives. Okay, the story behind these is Chris Reeve had this Sebenza 21, right, which had, the hole in it here and the pin up here. This is on a sliding pin. It's not actually a standoff. The 21 Sebenza, and I think, even the 31 Sebenza has a standoff here. And the difference between a Sebenza and an Inkosi and an Umnumzaan, primarily, is the standoff. The Sebenza has a standoff, so the pivot can only tighten so far until the standoff is contacted, and that's it. You just tighten it up, and that's what you got. That's your action. No fiddling around, just tighten it and go. The Inkosi and the Umnumzaan forego that standoff. This is the stop pin. That's the difference between the Inkosi and the Umnumzaan. I'll get there in a second. But the Inkosi and the Umnumzaan versus the Sebenza, they don't have a standoff here. So you can tighten the pivot as far as you want. You can pinch it tighter, you can leave it a little looser, whatever you want to do, and use Loctite to keep it where you want it. That way you can kind of tune the action. Now, this isn't a very impressive action. None of the Chris Reeves have impressive action. They're stiff, and that's just the way it is. And you'll either like that or you won't. But you can tune these a little bit. And honestly, the Inkosi is slicker. And this thing will fly out. No problems at all. This action doesn't bother me at all. This feels a little more sluggish. But that's what separates these two from the Sebenza. A somewhat adjustable pivot. And what separates these two from each other, aside from the aesthetics, the Inkosi has an internal stop pin, a lot like a Sebenza. So nothing weird going on here. The Umnumzaan moves the blade stop to the outside. These aren't really your thumb studs. They are your thumb studs, but they're also your stop pins. These things contact here and lock up. They contact here and stop. So those are your stop pins. No stop pin in the body, like on the Inkosi. And they double as your thumb studs. And to keep the flacking noise and maybe some of the wear down, they put rubber O-rings on these things. And this is one of the things about the Umnumzaan that I really don't care for. If you open it soft, it doesn't make much noise at all, as compared with the thwack you get from an Inkosi. I like the noise, but more importantly than just liking the noise is it lets me know the thing is open and locked. This thing's so quiet that sometimes I'm not sure and I go and like check the blade just to make sure I don't chop my hand off. The more you use it and the rubber gets worn down, it'll make a little more noise. Fresh O-rings are almost silent. It's kind of creepy. You can take these O-rings off, it won't hurt anything. Chris Reeve has released a statement, not Chris himself, it was his son, but the company Chris Reeve released a statement about that saying, yeah, it's fine, they'll run fine without the O-rings, it won't void your warranty or anything like that. So I took them off, but then you've got this big groove in the thumb stud and it's really uncomfortable on your thumb. It's like sawing into your thumb every time you open it, so I put them back on. I tried running it with one on the side that I opened and one off on the back so it would make a little more noise, but that was a little wonky, so I just put them back on and I've been dealing with it. Nothing like that on the Inkosi. You've got the typical Sebenza thumb stud, which is pointy little Devo hat-shaped thing that's kind of uncomfortable, but you get used to it. You just don't go right on top of it, go on the side of it. And another thing about the Umnumzaan is you can thumb flick it fine, but this thing is absolutely up against the lock bar. On an Inkosi, you've got some space there. So what does that mean? Well, it means on an Inkosi, if you're good enough, you can reverse flick it. This one reverse flicks fine. And these are not slick. Like, look at that. If you press up into the pivot instead of out, I mean, you can get them to reverse flick, you can get them to thumb flick. It's not that big a deal. But you can't do that on an Umnumzaan because thumb studs / stop pins make full contact, so you can't get in there with your middle finger or index finger. So, not going to be reverse flicking that. Another thing I don't like about the Umnumzaan, they moved the clip. See, on the Inkosi, the clip kind of lands in the middle here because it acts sort of like your lock bar stabilizer. When you get all the way out where you need to be, you're going to feel a lot more resistance. It's like a soft wall. So you know, okay, that's where I need to stop. Fine, that works good. Here they moved it onto the lock bar altogether. I'm not sure why they did that, but you've also got a hard stop here. You've got a lock bar stabilizer, which is a first for Chris Reeve, that stops you dead. It's got a hard wall you cannot go past because of that. But on top of that, you also have the clip pressing down on you. But I bent this out. This is a aftermarket clip, by the way. It's a milled titanium clip. The stock one is a spoon bent titanium clip like this. But my point here is that on the Inkosi, it goes in the middle. And that sits in the middle of your hand. It's right above here, right above that line. Not uncomfortable, it's fine. You're going to feel that lip a little bit, but no big deal. And on this, even with the aftermarket milled clip, that is lower on the body, so it's going to sit right here. Right where you're trying to squeeze, and you're going to feel that a lot more. It kind of feels like it tilts the knife in my hand this way. Don't really care for that. Another thing, the lock bar stabilizer. That's a selling point. A lot of people like that. I don't. I don't see the point in it. I mean, the clip itself gives you that soft wall. I mean, I've never accidentally gone too far over. I don't know that you could without being insane. So I just don't think that's necessary, and I like to be able to tune my lock bar if I want. So if it's too stiff, you can tweak the lock bar out a little bit, and that helps it relieve some of the detent pressure on the blade, helps it drop smoother, helps it deploy better because the detent's not as stiff. You can't really do that on an Umnumzaan. You'd have to take the stabilizer out, and I don't think you even can. I think I took this apart and looked at that, and yeah, there's not a way. It's like pressed in there. You can't remove that. So you are stuck with what you got with an Umnumzaan, no tweaking your lock bar. A thing I do like about the Umnumzaan is this frag pattern they've done here. This is not a monkey edge frag, it's on a diagonal. It's their own special thing. It's a neat looking thing. I like that. It's a good texture. So yeah, it's got a cool look. I like this swoop on the top of the blade here for your thumb if you want to choke up. or put your index finger there. That's nice. The jimping is worse than on an Inkosi. It's more aggressive on an Inkosi. So this gives me a lot more grip than this. And the spine is not really crowned on the Umnumzaan. It is crowned on the Inkosi. That's a nice premium feeling touch there. I like that. The lock bar on the Umnumzaan sticks out proud of the show scale, while the show scale on the Inkosi is carved down and cut away so you can get to the lock bar. On the Umnumzaan, it straight up sticks out, and it's got this weird little scalloped lip that is sharp as shit, and everyone who owns an Umnumzaan will tell you that is a bad design. It's just not comfortable at all. My thumbs are pretty rough, so it's not killing me or anything, but I hear a lot of people complain about that, and yeah, it is uncomfortable. It's a sharp little lip that you're having to press on pretty hard to get the lock disengaged, and I don't know why they did that. I mean, if you were wearing gloves, that'd probably be okay, but that's a pretty lame excuse that people like to use for bad ergonomics in design, in my opinion. This is better. This opens better. This disengages better. This feels better in the hand. It's slightly lighter. It's not any less tough, other than maybe the thinness of the tip. This has more taper towards the end than the Umnumzaan. This is going to give out, probably, I would bet, before the blade did. If you're doing anything normal, like a normal up and down, yeah, or your lock would fail, or your pivot would fail, not the blade. Blade stock thickness is overrated. I just think this is a better knife. I think people just like this because it looks cooler. Maybe. That's a subjective thing, obviously. I mean, I think it looks cool, but I like the way this looks better, also. It just looks more elegant. I guess this is a classic look, too, or it's becoming one. But it looks like... It's like they took an Inkosi, or a Sabenza 25, and added a bunch of stupid shit that doesn't make it any better. And then all of a sudden people can't get it and it can't stay in stock, and I don't know why. It's not practically better in any way. It has nothing that's better than an Inkosi, in my opinion. I don't know why everyone loves it so much, to be honest. It's a great knife, don't get me wrong. Especially at $500 these days with everything going through the roof price-wise. Chris Reeve's base models and these blasted and tumbled and whatever finishes are still $500, and that's great. I mean, I think that's a good value these days for an American-made high-quality knife. This is a better knife. I mean, obviously it's all opinionated. That this is my channel and this is where my opinions are aired, and in my opinion, the Inkosi is a better knife. I would buy a Large Inkosi, not an Umnumzaan. And in fact, after I do this video, I'm probably going to sell this. I was a little hesitant because I'd already invested some in it by I got this really cool geared backspacer I installed from a guy on Instagram. He makes them here in America. I'll put his name here. You're going to have to message him on Instagram and figure out when his next drop is, and he'll hit you up when he's got them available. But these are very, very cool. It looks really cool. Like that a lot. So I didn't really want to get rid of this because of that. One of the reasons. I've already got this clip on it, but maybe I'll slap that on my other knife and sell this with the stock clip. I think it'll fit. Yeah, I think they all use the same clips. But yeah, I don't know. This just doesn't do anything better than the Inkosi, and the Inkosi feels better to me and is slicker feeling to me and is a little lighter to me, and I think it looks more classic, and it doesn't have a lock bar stabilizer, which I don't care for. The lock bar is more comfortable. I can reverse flick this. I can't reverse flick that. So this is just a miss for me. I don't know. I wanted to get one and try one because everyone loves them so much, and I've been a Chris Reeve fan for over a decade. So I finally got one. I've had it for a couple of months, but I don't know. It's not tripping my trigger. I'm probably going to move this one along, but this is going to be with me forever. I've had this for a long time, and I'm going to keep it probably until I die. But the Umnumzaan, I mean, I guess if you want a glass breaker, there you go. Making this video file way longer than it needs to be by dicking off. So yeah, that's what I got to say on this one. I hope that didn't ruffle your feathers too bad. If you got an opinion different from mine, let me know what you think down there, why you disagree with me. Do you think the Inkosi is a better knife? Why or why not? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know what you think down there. Yeah, like I said, I just think this is a solid knife, but in my opinion, it's a downgrade from the Inkosi. I mean, unless you just really, really prefer the way this one looks, I don't see why you would buy this over the other one. I highly recommend the Inkosi. Very, very highly recommend the Inkosi. I think it's one of the best knives in the country, especially for the money. This is fine. It's like an Inkosi, but a little worse, and that's still a really good knife, in my opinion. So if you really like the way these look, grab one. If you like the way the Inkosi looks, grab that one. Grab either one of them. They're going to last you a lifetime, no matter which one you pick. For me, the Inkosi fits a little better than this one does. Sorry, microphone. keep jostling you around. So thanks for watching, guys. Please click like on your way out the door. That'll help me a lot. Leave a comment if you got anything to say, good or bad, advice, criticisms, poems, and subscribe so you'll get notified of the next one of these that comes around, and I will see you soon. Peace.